Hello, welcome to the Juniper Sky Enterprise Add an SRX Device Learning Byte. I'm Gordon Mosley with the Education Services Department at Juniper Networks. Let's get started. After successfully completing this learning byte, you will be able to manually add an SRX Series device to Juniper Sky Enterprise. To perform this function, the Juniper Sky Enterprise interface provides an Add Devices option. Now, this will allow you to manually add a device. So when I click the Add Devices button, I'll be able to specify the device's name, select a category of device. The Juniper Sky Enterprise application can manage SRX firewalls, EX Series switches, and NFX Series platforms from Juniper Networks. I'm allowed to specify a description. I even have the ability to do zero-touch provisioning with this platform. Some of the optional fields, I can have the Sky Enterprise provisioning process create an administrator username and password on the platform. I can assign the device to a site, which allows me to organize the devices that I plan to manage using the Sky Enterprise interface in a method that makes sense to me and my organization. So I will click and add a device and specify the name. And then the Sky Enterprise application will automatically generate a configuration snippet called a configlet. Now, once this configlet is generated, it is just enough information that I can load on to the, in this case, SRX platform. And it's enough information for that SRX platform to phone home to the Sky Enterprise application and be accepted for administration and management and monitoring and maintenance. And so once the configlet is generated, I'll copy that output and I'll connect to the platform and essentially paste those configuration statements into the platform and commit them. And then once that process is finished, I will be able to see the device inside of the Sky Enterprise interface, and it will display as online. So I'm going to connect to the Sky Enterprise interface now and add a device, generate the configlet, and then we'll connect to a virtual SRX platform, load that configlet, and then view that the device does connect back to Juniper Sky Enterprise. So then we can begin to monitor and maintain and administer that SRX platform. All right, this is the Juniper Sky Enterprise interface, and when I first log in, it will place me into the Sites pane. Now, I'm able to define sites. It's not a requirement, but I can create sites, and then I add my devices into Juniper Sky Enterprise. I can then place these devices in a particular site, right? I can perform administrative functions on a site-by-site basis if I so choose. But again, that's an optional component. So in this example, I have a Sunnyvale, California site and a Houston, Texas site. And as we retail, as we open up new locations, new branch offices, I can define a site and then organize my devices in a way that makes sense to me. Now, to add a device, I'm going to move us over to the Devices tab. There are some quick start videos that will tutorials that will help you get this process started. But I'm going to take the training wheels off and go ahead and click the Add Devices button. You'll give your device a name, whatever you want, okay, whatever makes sense to you. So I'll give it Retail Location 1 SRX. You'll specify the category of device. Now remember, the Juniper Sky Enterprise platform can administer SRX Series firewalls, EX Series switches, and our NFX Series platforms. This device is a virtual SRX that I'm going to add in for management. So I'm going to select firewall. You'll probably, in a production environment, you'll go ahead and add a description, right? The SRX, the Juniper Sky Enterprise platform supports a feature called zero-touch provisioning. EX Series, SRX Series, and NFX Series platforms with a factory default configuration loaded on them have a configuration snippet that allows them to basically phone home to the Sky Enterprise environment. And with zero-touch provisioning, I need to add the device. I simply need to add the serial number of this new device that we shipped overnight to our new branch location, our new retail location. Specify the serial number of that device. If somebody at that remote location can handle simply plugging that device in and turning it on, it will communicate back to Sky Enterprise. And if that serial number matches, I can perform a software update on that new device once it phones home, and also apply a production configuration to that device. Now, we're not going to do zero-touch provisioning now. I don't have a device set up in that fashion. I want to show some optional fields. When the device, we're going to generate a configlet, right? And that configlet will have an administrator username and password that allows Sky Enterprise the ability to apply configuration, to monitor and maintain that device. The username and password will be automatically created by Sky Enterprise and included in a configlet. If I want to specify particular values, I'm allowed to do that here. You can assign a tag to a device. Again, it's an optional component, but allows you to later organize your devices, right? A branch office device, headquarters device, whatever tags you want to use to kind of logically organize and group your devices. I can apply, configuration to devices that contain a particular tag, right? I had a couple sites created. I want to go ahead and add this to retail location A. I think that's out in Sunnyvale is how I had that organized. So once this device does join the Sky Enterprise management environment, I would like it to be organized into that particular site. There are some pre-selected options for me. I'm going to automatically back up the configuration. It will gather some statistical information, performance information from that device. There's reporting capabilities inside of Juniper Sky Enterprise, and gathering this type of data from a platform allows this reporting and monitoring information to be maintained. So that's the basics. I mean, really, it was as simple as let's give this new device a name, what type of device is it, and some optional components, like let's assign this device to a site. I can do that later if I want to, but for now, I'm going to click Create Device. And at this point, Juniper Sky Enterprise will generate the configlet for me. Now, I have the option to download that as a text file and save it locally. What I'm going to do for this learning byte is simply highlight these configuration statements. And I'm going to copy them, right? Because now what I want to do is I want to connect to the SRX device and enter configuration mode, and I'll paste these set statements into the configuration. And then this will allow that remote SRX platform to connect back and appear as an online device inside of Juniper Sky Enterprise. So I'm going to connect to the virtual SRX now. Okay, this is the SRX platform that I'm going to use for this demonstration. And so I want to enter configuration mode. And then I want to paste the configlet output. Now I have it copied. And so to get it into this interface, I need to paste it into this screen. And I want to run a load set terminal. Now I have to specify load set because the configlet was a series of set commands. And so now I can right click in this window and it will paste in the set commands that were generated by that configlet. I do a Control D to finish inputting, and then I simply say commit. Now, again, this configlet, as you can see on the screen, is just enough configuration to create an administrative account on this SRX platform that the Juniper Sky Enterprise can use to connect to and manage this platform connects back to Juniper Sky Enterprise, but it's enough configuration so there's an administrator account that Sky Enterprise can push config down to it and pull interface and statistical information for it. And so I'm going to commit this. And now I'm done, right? Now I'm going to switch back to the Juniper Sky Enterprise application. And we should be able to view this device in the interface, and it should appear in the online state. Okay, so I've returned back to the Juniper Sky Enterprise environment. Let me close down my configlet window. Here is my retail location SRX device. It's a virtual SRX, and here's the IP address that platform is using to connect back to the Juniper Sky Enterprise application. And I'm lucky that the device is actually online. You'll see any kind of alerts as a triangle here, right? And in this case, I need to do a little bit of license update. Once this device is online, this is the big benefit now of the Juniper Sky Enterprise application, and that now I can begin to manage this device or all of the devices that I manage using the Sky Enterprise application. And there's a lot of things I can do. It's a very functional management interface. And since this is an SRX, I can configure security policies and IPsec tunnels and routing and interfaces. And I'm going to go back to the Sites tab now. And I can see, remember, I placed that virtual SRX into the retail location A site. So this device is in Sunnyvale, California, and it's up and it's running and online. So that's a demonstration of manually adding a device to the Juniper Sky Enterprise interface for management and monitoring and maintenance purposes. So in this learning byte, we demonstrated manually adding an SRX Series device to Juniper Sky Enterprise. Thank you very much for watching.
Visit the Juniper Education Services website to learn more about courses. View our full range of classroom, online, and e-learning courses. Learning paths, industry segment and technology-specific training paths. Juniper Networks Certification Program, the ultimate demonstration of your competence. And the training community, from forums to social media. Join the discussion.